Good morning, everyone. My name is Kayla Mohan Blake, and I am going to be your host from Travel Week for this webinar. So today we are going to explore the lived experiences of LGBTQ plus people in Ireland, examining how history, culture, and legislation have shaped LGBTQ plus identity, visibility, and community today. So before I hand everything over, I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping. We do have a prize today. It is a $50 Amazon gift card. So in order to qualify, you do have to stay till the end of the webinar with us, which won't be more than about an hour. We are going to be answering all of your questions at the end of the session. So if anything comes to mind, pop it in the Q&A box in your control panel, and at the end of the presentation, we'll make sure to go through all of them. So we have a few presenters today. I'd like to introduce Lauren, Norma, Lynn, and Ketlin. Thank you so much for being here. Whenever you're ready, you guys can take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Lauren Lamonday, and I am the Business Partnership Executive with Tourism Ireland. Ketlin, if you can change the slide, please. I'm also being joined by my colleague Ketlin today, who will be presenting some more information about general information on the island of Ireland, and also joined by Lynn Halford and Norma O'Shea, which are two partners of ours from the island of Ireland, who will also be speaking about their products as they relate to the LGBTQ plus experience in Ireland. So Ireland is made up of 6 unique regions. As you know, the island of Ireland is separated into two different parts, two different countries. So we've got the Republic of Ireland as well as Northern Ireland. We've also broken down the island into these regions. So on the far left is the Wild Atlantic Way. This starts from the very top of the Republic all the way down to Kinsale, and it has the longest driving coastal route. We have Ireland's ancient east, which is there in the orange, which is where there's a lot of history and a lot of the castles and ancient civilized information as well. In the hidden heartlands, which is the green region on the map there, this is the more quieter, sort of more meadows. It's also very well known to the horse region. We've got Dublin, of course, on the far right in the blue. And last but not least is Northern Ireland in the greeny gray color on the top there. So once you get to Ireland, it's actually super easy to get from one side to the next. So from Dublin to Galway, for example, on the west coast is only about a 2-hour drive. And from Dublin Airport to Belfast is also only a 2-hour drive. But you can get to the southwest of Ireland in just about 3 hours or 3.5 hours to the bottom into Kerry region. Next slide, please. This is our route map. So we fly with 4 different partners all year round. So Air Canada and Aer Lingus fly year-round service from Toronto. Air Canada also flies seasonally from Vancouver and Montreal. Air Transat flies seasonally as well from Toronto to Dublin, and WestJet flies seasonally from Toronto, Calgary, Halifax, and St. John's.
Perfect, thank you.
I'm now going to hand over to Ketlin, who's going to talk to you a little bit more.
Thank you. So I wanted to briefly share some of the statistics and maybe some of our history on the island of Ireland when it comes to the LGBT community. So in 2015, Ireland became the first country to legalise same-sex marriage by popular vote, and our progress is reflected in our leadership. So Leo Varadkar became the country's first openly gay Taoiseach, Taoiseach being the Irish word for leader or prime minister, in 2017. And that highlights how quickly our society has evolved. In 2015, also, we had the Gender Recognition Act, which empowers individuals to legally self-identify their gender, which reinforces inclusion. So the impact on the tourism experience, our equality enriches visitor experiences by highlighting progressive values alongside cultural heritage. So in Ireland, we're known for Arcade Mila Fáilte, 100,000 welcomes. And although we'll be talking about different Pride festivals and events happening throughout the year, I wanted to highlight that Ireland does offer a safe and welcoming space for all throughout the year, which can be seen in some of the pictures here on the screen. But I thought I would start off with our capital city, with Dublin, and some of the events that we can see throughout the year. So the Dublin Pride Festival is the largest celebration of diversity and inclusion on the island of Ireland, where over 100,000 people take part in the Pride Parade each year. And we have loads of different events happening throughout the Pride Festival, but one of the highlights is the Mother Block Party, which is a beautiful surroundings of National Museum at Collins Barracks with 3 stages, and it's a big party there. So that's definitely a highlight each year. We also have other events such as the Gays International LGBTQIA Film Festival, which happens in late July. And that kind of gives a platform to creatives and to give that space to them as well and to highlight on the screen. And then we have the Outing Festival, which happens in County Clare. So Ireland is known for our matchmaking heritage. Some of you may have heard about the Lisdoonvarna Matchmaking Festival, which is over 165 years old. So this outing festival was inspired by the Lisdoonvarna Matchmaking Festival, and it is over 14 years old. And you can expect to see over 1,000 attendees with 50 live shows. And it's a really nice way to experience rural Ireland, the west of Ireland, and that happens in February. Then, in terms of Pride, I know that Lynn will be speaking more on the different Pride festivals happening across the island, but I just wanted to talk about the Belfast Pride Parade, which happens in the north of Ireland, and that happens between the 17th of July and the 26th, and this year marks the 35th anniversary, and again, there's loads of different events happening, not just a Pride Parade. And then in Galway, which is again in the west of Ireland, it's a lovely town and lovely city, and the Pride Festival and the Pride Parade happens between the 2nd and the 8th of August. So hopefully you'll see that we have some lovely events happening across the island of Ireland and that we have lots of spaces that are inclusive to all as well year round. I'm going to pass you on now to Lynn from Maloney and Kelly.
Thank you very much. So hi everyone, my name is Lynn Halford. I am the FIT Business Development Manager for Maloney and Kelly, and I'm going to speak to you a little bit about Maloney and Kelly, what we do, some of the tours that we offer with a particular LGBTQ plus focus, and then some other tours, just give you a little bit of a taster of what Maloney and Kelly can offer your clients. So who are we? Maloney and Kelly is 56 years in business this year. So we're full service DMC. We have offices located in Dublin, Edinburgh and London with local staff on the ground in each location. We offer bespoke experiences and itineraries for clients. We have extensive year-round hotel allocations. To note on the hotel allocations, Maloney and Kelly, we are part of a larger company called the Abbey Group, which is kind of a one-stop shop really for all travel needs. So we operate groups, FIT, conference events, incentives, and for that reason, we have great buying power across the UK and Ireland. So really great hotel allocations, much easier to place business. We have 24-hour on the ground support, and then we are a preferred partner with several different consortiums as well. And next slide. So then, so what do we offer in terms of tailor-made travel? So we, as I mentioned, customize itineraries. So we do everything on a bespoke basis. I mentioned our buying power with the hotels. We offer a huge range of 4-, 5-star hotels, castles, manors, unique accommodations, and so forth. There's a great range. Flexible transport. So we have a great network of wonderful chauffeur drives, and then we can also offer self-drive, train train travel is also becoming more popular across the UK and Ireland, and we can cater to that as well. We can offer a range of private tours, exclusive access, cultural immersion. So if you're looking to meet the maker or meet the locals, we've lots of experiences catering to that. And then just to note as well, we do specialty group travel as well. So for your multi-generational families, sports, choir groups, marching bands, and so forth. So in terms of the Pride festivals, so I just thought I would touch on this and kind of highlight, I'm sure this presentation will be shared afterwards, but highlight some of the festivals that go on across the island of Ireland. There's actually more beyond this. This is what would fit on the page, and these are, I suppose, the top ones. But the most well-known one would be the Dublin Pride Festival, which is great, and then the Pride Parade and or March that takes place on the 27th of June this year. But just to show as well that there are other parades, other week-long festivals going on throughout the country at different times. So to start with a few of the experiences that you can have. So I'm gonna, as I mentioned, I'm gonna go through a range of some will have an LGBTQ plus focus and some more general focus, just to give you a little bit of a variety of what we can offer. So first up is Secret History of Gay Dublin. So this is a walking tour that can be done on a private basis in Dublin. It's a great way to get your bearings on Dublin while also learning some of the wonderful LGBTQ plus stories that are really like interwoven into the city. So one of the iconic sites that you would visit is the Oscar Wilde Memorial, which is shown in the image there. Oscar Wilde, of course, was prosecuted for public indecency when his homosexual relationship was made public. So his story is quite integral, and then it'll take you through other trailblazers of the community as well, like Panty Bliss, who is a drag queen and advocate for the community. Senator David Norris, who was integral in bringing about the Pride parades and also then in the same-sex marriage referendum. So there's great stories. You'll hear a lot about the resilience, the resistance, but there's a lot of joy in these stories as well. It brings a lot of Irish wit, of course. So you know it is inclusive and educational, but it's fun as well. And as I mentioned, great way to see the city while learning about these stories. On then to the Epic Emigration Museum. So this is a great stop for any client really to Ireland. It's constantly winning awards for being one of the the best attractions in Dublin. So the Emigration Museum, it's an interactive museum in Dublin. It can also offer genealogy services. So we do find that a lot of clients from Canada are looking to trace their roots when they come to Ireland. So this is a great spot to do that. From an LGBTQ plus perspective, they offer tours all throughout Pride Month on a regular basis, and then throughout the rest of the year, it's done on a private basis. There's lots of stories. So throughout the 10 interactive galleries in the museum, they have lots of different focus. One of the great stories I found from this visit was you learn about the Molly houses. So the Molly houses were like social clubs, underground social clubs for the LGBTQ plus community during the 18th and 19th century. They were almost like a precursor to the gay club, where people could really be themselves in these underground societies. They also had Molly spoons, which is how people would tell others how they wanted to be identified. So let's say, for example, a man wanted to be identified as a woman, he would decorate the spoon to look like a woman, and then others would know to address him with female pronouns, which I thought was quite interesting, a little ahead of its time as well. And then also when you're talking about immigration, you learn about the LGBTQ plus diaspora and the people who left Ireland, their stories. So great story about Peter Doyle, who went to the United States and met Walt Whitman, became his long-term partner and muse. You have Oscar Wilde, of course, who emigrated to France. Eileen Gray, who was a bisexual architect from Wexford, and then Eva Gore Booth, who was a poet and advocate from Sligo, who moved to Italy with her partner. And then onto the west coast of Ireland. So Secret Island Escapes, they offer a few different experiences. There's some lovely options. This one's my favourite. It's the Medieval Ireland experience. So clients will meet their zero emissions yacht, and they'll travel across Lough Derg to this castle that you see in the first picture there. So the great story about this castle is it was once in ruins, and the couple who now own it, they used to actually camp in a tent on at the ruins of the castle, and they used to dream about owning it one day. And they did. They bought the castle. They lovingly restored it. It's absolutely beautiful. It's impeccable attention to detail, keeping all the original factors. So when clients travel over to the castle, they'll meet the owners. They'll learn all about this loving restoration, and then you can add on additionals like the music and the dancing and the tastings. They'll keep all the tastings in line with the medieval times. So the drinks that they serve are mead, and the food will be in line as well. So I've done this experience myself. It's quite magical. It's really wonderful experience. And then afterwards, after going to the castle, the clients are then taken back by yacht to the mainland, and then to a local village where they'll have lunch in a local pub. So it's a really nice kind of half day experience for clients on the west coast. Then up to Northern Ireland, so onto the Titanic Belfast. Another really wonderful interactive museum and a really big attraction for clients coming to Ireland and Northern Ireland. It's amazing how fascinated people are by an ill-fated ship that's over 100 years old, but it's a really wonderful museum, great visit on its own. From an LGBTQ plus perspective, you can do a private tour of the galleries here as well. One of my colleagues did this tour, and what he said was an interesting, snippet that he took from it was that people may have been boarding the ship as a safe place to be themselves. This is touched on the tour that they may not have felt that they could identify correctly in everyday society, but on board a ship for a certain period of time, they felt free to be themselves. So that's touched on along with some of the stories of the passengers on board when visiting Belfast. Onto Taste and Tour. So if you're in Belfast, this is another few. This through Taste and Tour, there's a few different options of tours that you can do in Belfast. So they do wonderful walking tours of the city with a food and drink theme. So in the bottom right there, you can see the guide in St George's Market in Belfast. That's where the food tour will take you, and then to other food stops along the way. Belfast is really, I would say, over the last 10 years, Belfast has really, really developed as a foodie destination. There's some great visits there, some great dining experiences. In the bottom left there, you can see their whiskey walk as well. So if you just wanted to do more of a drinks-based tour, they can take you to a few different bars, tasting different whiskies along the way. They also have this lovely experience called the Sensorium. So it's a cocktail experience. There's two different ones. One is where you go through 5 different rooms, where each room focused on a different sense. You do these different kind of tests on your senses, and by the end of the tour, they will create a cocktail specific for your senses, your taste, which is incredible and very accurate. And then they also have another experience where they actually tell the history of Belfast through drinks, which is a unique experience as well. So they've got a lovely range of options there if you're in Belfast. Then on to Hillsborough Castle, which is in Northern Ireland. So Hillsborough Castle is one of the royal residences. It's the only royal residence in Northern Ireland, and they can also offer. It's a lovely, lovely tour. Anyway, they have beautiful gardens. But if interested, clients can do a LGBTQ plus focus tour in Hillsborough Castle as well. So it highlights a lot of the relationships that would have been hidden in the past due to restrictions. You have the story of the Ponsonby sisters, who were lifelong companions, kind of defied convention. You have Arthur Hill, who was very progressive of his time. And then also Peter Mandelson, who is in a bit of a scandal, I suppose, in the UK at the moment, but worth noting that he was the first same-sex minister to reside in Hillsborough Castle and government building. And then if you're in Northern Ireland up on the Causeway Coast, there's some wonderful experiences along there that we can offer as well. So we have in the pictures here the Giant's Causeway, which is a real bucket list item for a lot of people, and then also the Carrick Rope Bridge. But there are obviously upgraded experiences that we can offer for both. So one is Whiskey on the Rocks, which is an experience you can do on the Giant's Causeway. So you would meet with a guide from the Giant's Causeway and also a distiller from Bushmills Distillery. Bushmills Distillery is about 5 minutes away drive from the Giant's Causeway. They both come and meet you at the Giant's Causeway. They tell you the history and the folklore of the Giant's Causeway as you walk down to the causeway itself. And then the distiller takes out a 12-year-old whiskey specifically made for this experience. And then you do a tasting of the whiskey whilst on the Giant's Causeway, which is a really beautiful, unique experience. And then over at the Carrick Rope Bridge, again, you can do a regular visit to the Carrick Rope Bridge. However, if you do it with Mark Rogers, who's pictured in the middle and the bottom there, Mark Rogers is a guide who's worked in this area for a generation. His dad worked as a guide in the area, so he's got a wonderful history and attachment to the local area. But he takes you on a beyond the bridge experience. So he takes you across the rope bridge to a fisherman's cottage on the other side, where he'll take you in, tell you the stories of the fishermen who once worked on that island. And again, I think a whiskey is brought out and tasted to top off the experience as well. So that's just a little taster of what we do in Maloney and Kelly. If you have any questions or any queries, you can contact me directly, or then there's also our contacts there for both the UK and Ireland. Just to note, in terms of working with us, we do offer commission. We can make any commission amount that you would like on your bookings. We do offer payment links as well for clients, and we can give that directly to clients as well if you wish. So yeah, we work very hard on making sure that working with us is as convenient as possible. So please do reach out if you have any questions. Thank you. I'm going to pass over to Norma now.
Hi everyone, thank you Lynn. My name is Norma O'Shea. I'm the Visitor Experience Manager with Skellig 618 Distillery in Carsaveen in County Kerry. So Skellig Distillery is the home of Skellig Gin and Whiskey. In the production process of these liquids, heritage and tradition collide, making something really magical. For instance, the gin is a unique local botanical blend using some local ingredients, and I'll touch on that later again. So we are located right on the Wild Atlantic Way on the Ring of Kerry in a town called Carsaveen. The distillery itself is 1.6 kilometres from the centre of Carsaveen. We have on-site coach and car parking spaces, and we would be located about a 4-hour drive from Dublin and about a 2-hour drive from Cork. It's a vibrant Irish town with a population of about 1,000 people, I guess. And yeah, as I said, it's located on Ireland's famous Wild Atlantic Way. So Carsaveen is on the Evora Peninsula, which is known for its stunning landscapes on the Ring of Kerry. It's an iconic tourist route. There is real beauty in this location, and it's very special for visitors. It is home to the UNESCO World Heritage Site Skellig Michael, which is located 15 minutes off the mainland from nearby Portmagee. We also have several blue flag beaches in the area. It's also a dark sky reserve area, and just recently we opened a greenway. It's a 32-kilometre cycle route between Glenbeigh and Carsavine, and there's a part section of it opened at the moment, with the hope of the remainder of it being opened in the next 12 months. So we're really excited for this. It's just going to extend the tourist season that bit longer for us, and yeah, it's great for everyone, locals as well as tourists, to be able to get out and enjoy all of that plenty fresh air. So we opened the doors of the distillery in the summer of 2020, offering full guided tours where the visitor can choose a gin tour or a gin and whiskey tour. We were delighted in 2022, where we won double gold for our distillery tour in the International Spirit Challenge Awards. So that came as quite a surprise to us, but I'm delighted with the recognition as well. We're a craft distillery with firm roots in the area and in the local community. So for travel trade guests, we offer two different types of tours and tasting. So the tour itself is the same. It's between 45 and 55 minutes. And option one allows you to choose a gin tasting, which is a tasting of our regular gin and our bilberry gin. And option two then gives you a tasting of our gin, our small batch whiskey, and our single pot still whiskey. So this is our more premium offering. It's our snug. So it's like an Irish pub snug. This can be customized for your guests. It's overlooking the mountains and the sea, and it's got some great views right out the window there, as you can see on the slide. So this is our apothecary corner. As part of the tour, the visitor gets to hear what local botanicals we use in the gin. This is a very hands-on sensory part of the tour. They get to see the botanicals that we use in plant form and distillate form. So we had a local forager go out and collect these local ingredients that are growing in our hedgerows and ditches around the distillery. So he brought back 20, and we narrowed it down to 4, which we use in our gin, which are yarrow, Douglas fir, dillisk, and birchsap. So the yarrow gives it like a sweet flavour. The Douglas fir gives it like a pink grapefruit and herbaceous finish. And then the birchsap gives it like a sweet mineral flavour. And then the dillisk is like a seaweed. So we just use small amounts of the seaweed in that as well. But yeah, so the tour guide sprays the botanicals on a perfume strip, so you can get to smell and see these botanicals both in plant form and in distilled form as well. So we find that the visitor really enjoys this part of the tour. Yeah, so these are our 4 botanicals that I just named out there. Our yarrow, our birchsap, our dillisk, and our Douglas fir needles. So as part of the tour, the visitor gets to see our 500-litre gin still in operation. They get to see how we blend and make the gin and distill it for over 6 weeks. And then they also get to see our bottling line as well in operation. Yeah, they find this part of the tour the most fascinating, just to see those bottles running along down the line. So this is our tasting room. We find this part of the tour quite popular. It's a real Instagram moment for people as well. The shelves are all lit up at the back with the bottles surrounding them. So this is where the visitor gets to do all the tasting. They get their gin tasting or their gin and whiskey tasting in this space. So for travel trade, as I said, it's a fully guided tour. The tour is in English, but with advanced booking, we can arrange to have the tour in other languages. We do have some native German and French tour guides that run the tour fully in that language once we get some advance notice. And as I say, it includes a 15 ml tasting of our regular gin and our bilberry gin. We've a €5 voucher off in our retail store then towards a bottle of the gin or the bilberry. And then, as I said, the tour is between 45 and 55 minutes. The tour size for groups is 18, but we do take larger groups than that, and where we can either stagger them 15 minutes apart or split the group into two groups. And then for the gin and whiskey tasting, again, the visitor tastes of 15 ml of our regular gin, 15 ml of our Skellig small batch whiskey, and 15 ml of our single pot still whiskey as well. Again, this is the same tour. It's between 45 and 55 minutes. Again, it's just the tasting at the end is different, and the same applies to the group sizes as well. So this is our more premium offering that I introduced to you earlier. So this is our Irish pub snug. It's like an up close and personal meeting with a whiskey expert. It's a private booking. It's a separate entrance to our regular tour as well. So it's a much smaller setting and a much smaller group. So we do a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 8 in this space. So here in the snug, the visitor is tasting very rare and premium whiskey. So it's whiskey that has been in the same cask for 20 years. So as part of the experience, the visitor is going into our maturation warehouse where they're drawing whiskey directly from the cask. And you can see it here on the next slide. So with this copper tube here, they get to draw that whiskey directly from the cask and taste it. So as I said, it's 20-year-old whiskey. It's been in the same cask for 20 years, so it's very rare, very premium whiskey. And also as part of this experience, the visitor gets to enjoy smoked salmon on crab meat, smoked salmon on brown bread and crab meat on brown bread, as part of the experience as well. So they have that food pairing with that as well. So we also have an on-site distillery gift shop where we find our premium branded items really popular. Of course, our gins, our whiskies, our glassware, but we also carry a wide and enchanting range of Irish products such as Blotting Innes, Jennifer Rothwell, Stable of Ireland. So for the travel trade perks, we do have preferred rates. We do have a retail voucher. As I said already, our tours are fully guided. You will be guaranteed a huge Céad Míle Fáilte. Our driver and guide with the group, of course, are free of charge, and we do have a loyalty card system in place as well. So yeah, so that's pretty much everything from Skellig 618. If you do have any inquiries or any questions, please do feel to reach out to me directly on groups at skellig618distillery.ie. And thank you so much for listening, and I'll pass you over to Lauren.
Thank you so much, Lynn and Norma. Appreciate it. I'm also going to share some assets available for you and how we can help you promote the island of Ireland to your clients. So our main website, Ireland.com, has lots of great route trip planning ideas, attraction information and advice. It's also got a list to some of the tour operators that we work with across Canada. So many of those you're probably familiar with. There's also quite a few different trip itineraries. So if you're looking for sample itineraries for your clients, there's a lot of great information on there. We'll also house all the information about upcoming festivals, including Pride throughout the month of June, and festivals that take place all year round. We also have a trade website, and that website is trade.ireland.com. So this will have a lot more information and as well as touring suggestions as well. It links to quite a few of the other assets I'm about to share, including our new specialist program. So if you wanted to use that specifically from a trade perspective, it also hosts a lot of previously recorded webinars. So if you want to go back and look at topics on a certain subject, you can see those directly on our trade website. We have a free content pool that you can use in any of your marketing. So that website is irelandcontentpool.com, and this gives you free access, like I said, to thousands of images and videos. You do have to create an account, but all of that content is royalty free. So once you do that, you can use that in any of your marketing. We also have a quarterly trade e-zine, and this is a subscription, so you can subscribe through our trade website that I mentioned. And this is where we'll share the latest product updates from our partners. Also, we'll share more about the specialist program or any upcoming events that we're participating across Canada. We have a Facebook group, and that is specific for Ireland insiders. These are only for Canadian advisors. This is where you can ask questions to your fellow advisors or to us directly. We will also share product updates and event festival information, webinars, and fam trips that are taking place as well on the Facebook group. And then the Ireland Specialist Program, as I've mentioned, we just relaunched this a couple months ago. So if you've done our previous program in the past, this is a revamped version of it. Highly recommend that you register and do this program again. It is 5 different courses. They take about 20 to 25 minutes each. You can go in and start the program and come back at a later time to finish it if you need to. But there's a lot of great information about familiarizing yourself about the different regions, different festivals, different activities, about what takes place across the island. So really thought it well programmed. So if you'd like to become a specialist, you will get a certificate of completion that you can obviously promote to your clients that you know more about the island of Ireland. This brings us to the end of our PowerPoint presentation today on LGBTQ plus experiences across the island of Ireland. There's been a couple of questions which I've answered directly through Zoom, but if you have any more questions, please, you can reach out to us all directly. This is our contact information, and I am the point of contact for Tourism Ireland in Canada, so please reach out at any point if there's anything that we can do to help you sell the island of Ireland.
Amazing. Thank you for that presentation. It was wonderful. We do have a couple of questions that haven't been answered. I can just go through those quickly and you guys can just give an answer. So the first one is from Jeffrey. Where is the castle located?
That one's for me. So the castle is located on Lough Derg. So the access point is Killoo, which is in County Clare on the west coast. But the castle itself is located on an island in Lough Derg.
Perfect. Thank you. It looks amazing. Another question here from Brett. It says, am I correct in saying if you fly into Dublin and then drive to Northern Ireland, then fly from Belfast to England, there's not going to be any UK internal border controls?
I can answer the questions as far as Northern Ireland, but I actually cannot answer the question in terms of flying to England from there. From what I understand, I believe, and I would like to fact check that before I give you the right answer, that there is technically no routine border on arrival from Belfast to England. And if you're specifically asking about the ETA, I know that there has obviously been a lot of questions around it. We highly recommend that your clients still do have the ETA because it is mandatory to have it. So like I said, I'm not 100% sure because I don't work with England, but I know for a fact that you do require to have the ETA on arrival in the UK. So I can answer that part of it.
Perfect. Thank you. And then one last question, because I know you answered a bunch of them in the answered section, is just, will the presentation be sent to us? Yes, everyone who is attending will get a copy of the presentation. So that is all the questions that we have. Thank you so much for your presentation. Thank you to all the travel advisors who have joined us. We will see you next time and have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.